you think of the background? Because obviously I have my baby, and then, you know, because can you ever truly get away from this guy? No. I'm kind of wanting to get one of those like old school metronomes so that it will like immediately strike fear into the heart of anyone watching my videos. Yeah, I feel like that's the vibe I'm going for. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. Today's going to be a fun one. We're going to do another answering Google's most asked questions video. As previous, this is definitely inspired by the Two Set Violin channels, so a big thank you to those guys, and I will obviously have them linked in the description bar, but I am sure that if you're watching this video then you have probably also watched their videos, but you know. But today's one is going to be answering Google's most asked questions Orchestra edition. To be honest, these are the questions that I tend to get asked the most. You know, people are just curious as to how an orchestra works day to day, so I figured it could be a good one to make a video on. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. It's very good to have you. And my name is Heather, and I'm a professional freelance viola player, and I just make videos all about freelance live and a few teaching tips and practice tips and all that kind of stuff. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, please do hit that little subscribe button and come and join the fun. Okay, so first up, why do orchestras need a conductor? The short answer is that the conductor is there to basically keep everybody together, because if you've got over 100 musicians on stage, you can't physically hear everybody. It's just not possible. So obviously, you know, you're listening out, you're listening to everybody around you, but you can't hear every single player, individual player. Neither should you be able to. So they're there to kind of keep everybody together, but it goes a lot deeper than that. The conductor is actually also there to put their own musical interpretation on a piece. You could play one symphony with two different conductors and it will sound really quite different, like the style that they want and the tempos that they choose and all that kind of stuff is super individual. And there are some incredibly famous conductors and they tour the world working with different orchestras, and I've had the absolute privilege to work with some incredible conductors, and the amount of work that they have to put in, like they have to know that score like the absolute back of their hand. A lot of conductors will basically conduct from memory because, you know, you can't read that many lines of music in one go, so just having it all in your head can often actually be the better option. So yeah, so short answer, to kind of keep everybody together, but long answer, they take the rehearsals, so they dictate how they run, and yeah, stylistic, tempo, all that kind of stuff. They're making all the big decisions. They get paid well for it though, so you know, we don't feel too bad for them. Why do orchestras tune to the oboe? Okay, so I actually didn't know the answer to this initially. I was like, that's a very good question. But actually it's just what I presumed it was, and the fact that the oboe, its sound just cuts through anything. You can hear that over any kind of noodling that the orchestra is doing, or, you know, little pre-rehearsal practice or anything. Like as soon as that A goes off, everybody's like, oh, you know, it really grabs your ear. So that's the reason, basically. It's just really the sound, you know, goes right through. Why do orchestras? Why do orchestras? I'm not philosophical enough to answer that one. Why do orchestras wear black? Uniformity and smartness, generally speaking. If you're doing a last night of the proms kind of a concert, then you may wear coloured dresses and the guys might be in white suits and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, black is just, it looks good and the instruments look good against black as well. And also when you're an orchestra, you don't really want any one player visually standing out because you're there as a team. So if you're all dressed in black, then you kind of become this unit rather than being lots of individual players, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just really a smartness thing, and I mean, I'm not complaining. I really like wearing black, so you know, suits me. Why do orchestras need sheet music? Because we cannot be bothered to memorize things. No, that is not strictly true. I mean, it's partially true. I mean, personally, it's fairly true. Memorizing music that isn't the tune is really, really hard. A lot of the time you will have vast quantities of rests in one go. You could be sat counting well over 100 bars rests sometimes and remembering all of that and exactly when to come in and everything. I mean, that's part of the skill, but there's that. But also there's, you know, if you don't have the tune, you just have on its own what sounds like quite a random kind of accompaniment part. It is so hard to remember that, and unless you have a photographic memory, to be honest, I don't know anybody who would confidently say that they could memorize any orchestral part. So it's there for safety, basically, and memorizing all of that would be really, really hard. Also, bear in mind that some symphonies can be, you know, nearly an hour long, some are over an hour long. So memorizing that amount of music, which isn't all super interesting, and the tune, etc., is, yeah, that'd be a big ask. Why do orchestras tune to an A? So when orchestras first formed in kind of the 17th century, they were generally made up of string players primarily, and every string instrument has an A string. So initially it was kind of convenience, and then it's stuck as tradition. If you are playing in a brass band, most brass instruments are actually at a B flat pitch, so they will tune to a B flat, which, you know, makes sense. But yeah, orchestras will always tune to an A because it's tradition, as is most of the stuff we do, to be fair. Okay, why do orchestral musicians wear headphones? Okay, we normally don't. The only reason you will see orchestral musicians wearing headphones is for recording purposes. That will have a click going, so the tempo is being set by this lovely little ticky machine in your ear, and also then you can hear everything that's going on. But primarily, yeah, it's for the click, so that you all stay in time, because recording is normally having to be done to a very, very tight timeline. You know, time is money, and so having that click there just means that everybody's really locked in, and it just diminishes any chance of mistakes. Okay, what does an orchestra, okay, conductor 2, we've done that one, tune 2, done that one, consist of? Okay, so it's a group of musicians basically, and generally speaking, a orchestra or a symphony orchestra, for example, will consist of 2 violin sections, first violin, second violins, viola section, cello section, a bass section, and then you'll have the woodwind, the brass, you've got the French horns over there, sometimes they're in woodwind, sometimes they're in brass, nobody really knows, and then you've got the percussion around the back, and that basically just covers all of your bases. And then you can have chamber orchestras, which will have the same sort of instruments, but just in smaller quantities. So yeah, generally speaking, that is what an orchestra is made up of. What does an orchestra conductor wave to keep time? Fair question. So that's called a baton, and it's generally just a long white stick. I mean, they're normally made out of plastic, but some people like to get really fancy ones. And then it will have like a little wooden or a little cork kind of end to it to give them a bit of grip. It's basically so that we can all see it, because somebody's hand can kind of be lost against the background quite easily. So when you're looking at the conductor and then you've got the audience behind them, it's a little bit hard to see, whereas the long white stick just sort of shows up really, really easy. And then it's also really funny when they accidentally throw it. But you have to pretend it's not funny, because some conductors get angry if you laugh. Do orchestras have pianos? Yes, sometimes they do. It depends on what piece they're doing, but actually a lot of symphonies especially do actually involve a piano, which is quite fun. Do orchestras really need a conductor? Kind of touched on that one, but no, if they're small enough, you could often do, you know, little chamber orchestras can do full performances without a conductor, no problem. But once, yeah, you start getting into the bigger forces, then yeah, you do. Do orchestras have trumpets? Yes, they do. And they are often sat directly behind the viola players, which is why I have a pair of very expensive earplugs. Because they're loud. Do orchestras have guitars? Again, generally speaking, no. There are, of course, guitar concertos, but then you're the soloist, so you're not kind of in the orchestra. If you are playing more, say, you were doing a film music concert, or particularly concerts which involve a lot of TV themes, then you will often have guitarists, because you'll have a bit more of a pop section of the orchestra. So you'll have your bass guitars and your electric guitars and your drum kit and all of that, which will then slot in with everything else and can be really, really cool. They're some of my favourite concerts to do. So generally speaking, no. In a classical sense, basically never, but in a more, yeah, film music, TV music, then yes, yeah, they are often used. Do orchestras sing? Not if we can help it in any way, shape or form. Sometimes, especially if it's a more kind of modern piece, then there will be a requirement for the orchestra to, you know, shout or say something or like sing a bit, and the response is never enthusiastic. I will say that. And that's it. I'm going to leave the video there. But if you have enjoyed this video, then please do give it a like, and I can absolutely make more of these. I find them really fun. I find it really interesting what people are Googling and what people are just interested in finding more about. So if you have any questions that I didn't answer today, then please do comment them below and I will reply to you as soon as I can. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great week, and yeah, see you guys really, really soon. Bye.